What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? I just finished this book like and I'm like I want to talk about it now because the book like it hits so many interesting notes. The book is When Fishes Climb Trees by Kingsley Obom Egbuleem. Now, this man is an amazing man. I actually had the opportunity of meeting him like 2 or 3 weeks ago doing a program. I just talked to him and I just started reading your book and I love it. Okay, it took me longer than normal because again, Sister Nez is listening to some other audiobook instead of reading the book. Oh god. Anyway, so this book is beautiful. This book is great for, like, I think everybody should read it. Young adults should read it, parents should read it, people that are surrounded by young people should read it, then teachers should read it. He actually devoted like the last 3 chapters of the book to what we can do to take care of our educational sector. Now, for When Fishes Climb Trees is basically When Fishes Climb Tree is basically a book on figuring out early enough how to harness the best out of your child. Now, at the back, it said the making of miserable adults. There you go. So the making of, as if you don't follow, basically what she's trying to say, if you don't follow these steps in this book, you're going to have a miserable adult. Now, most of us, by the time I say most of us, people that are above, let's say 30, okay, 30 and above, most of us are people that basically just hustle through life, and a lot of us are still doing it. A lot of us, very few of us, like the percentage of people that actually are working within their actual talents, what they are and what they are supposed to do, is very tiny percentage. Like, that's why they are still called like very cool stories. They're like inspirational stories, because most people were forced to do something they weren't supposed to do, or most people weren't even taught to think, to figure out what they want to do for themselves. So most people like they ended up doing some professional job, or they are doing some, they're just doing something, basically trying to get by. Like, the bottom line of your life is basically making money and making your life comfortable. But here's the thing: comfort isn't equal to happiness, because you're comfortable now. 3 to like 10 years after you've worked in this place, you start to feel miserable. And a great telltale sign of this is how people feel about Monday mornings. If you are doing the thing that you're supposed to do, if you're achieving your purpose on earth, the Monday morning syndrome will not be there. What is the Monday morning syndrome, you ask? The Monday morning syndrome is when Monday morning comes and you don't want to go to work. You don't even want to do, like, you don't want to do anything. Now you're getting paid, so you're going to have to go, but you just don't want to go. Some of us have good houses, good cars, we have a comfortable enough life, like we can ball, we can show our friends that we're doing okay, but we're not happy, and the miserable adult, which is basically a non-fulfilled person, basically that easily leads to things like depression, even suicide, drugs, just different forms of addictions. That's what happens actually more often than not. Nothing beats purpose. I tell even my married friends that if you and your other have a purpose, a vision that both of you are working with together, the possibility of strife showing up, the possibility of lovelessness existing, the possibility of breakup happening is very little, because you people have a bigger vision in mind. So everything you do is towards that. So basically, as an adult, if you're someone that is already going through this kind of situation where you like your job because you have money and you're able to show your friends that you're doing well, but in actually deep inside you don't feel fulfilled. You're just doing this thing. You're basically just just like you're just making it happen. You can, reading this book actually, I think, would help you open your eyes to, like, if you can go back to when you were a kid, you can remember what it was that made you happy, and you can start doing something about that. So this book basically is, I feel like this book is like a warning. Do you understand? We don't want our kids to wake up one day and regret the kind of life that they have. I feel like our own generation, I don't know what the generations are called, but I feel like our own generation could have easily blamed our parents. That happened a lot. You say, oh, my parents didn't do this, my parents didn't do that. This new generation will not blame you. They're just gonna do something, as in they don't have energy to stand blame you. They're just gonna start doing something crazy because they live in a less the barriers in this generation is not as much as the ones that we had. So we will not blame these people. Will not blame their parents. The younger ones now will not blame their parents. They would instead just try to do something. Hence things like the addictions and suicide and acute depression, clinical depression, really, basically. So this book, Kingsley. Okay, yeah, I said it was forwarded by Simi. Can you see it? It's forwarded by Simi. Simi, the musician, was apparently mentored greatly by this man. Now, this man he's a teens teacher, and then he does a whole, like, the man is this Kingsley Obom. The guy is just, he's nailing stuff outside there. He has, like, let me see if I can read a bit of some of the things that they said about him. He's the host of MANHOOD. He's a radio talk show geared towards boys and men. And then he has something else. What's that thing called again? I should have written all these things down. Girl. Yeah, so things like school plus ahead. The school plus is where he talks to teachers, trying to get teachers and schools to have better curriculums to manage talent in children, because whether we are willing to admit it or not, more often than not, the things we learn in school are more theories. That's just how it is. So it's interesting to find that when you learn, let's say, I don't have an example right now off the street of my head, but a lot of the things that you learn in school, if you go somewhere else and learn it on the street, okay, yes, like marketing, thank you. The marketing that you learn in school is different from marketing that you learn if you go to the market to start learning how to market to people. You know, right? So why is it different? How come? What is the misunderstanding? What is it? It's theory. So basically, the idea is getting the schools to be able to spot talents and then manage them. Same thing with the parents. I don't think anything can ever be overemphasized the importance of parents in the child's life. This deal where a lot of us just think that, you know, because we have money and we have our beautiful jobs, we can just pay crazy amount of money, drop our kids in school, and then go and do whatever we want to do with our life. It doesn't quite work. You don't want to make a miserable adult. You want an adult that is centered, that is fulfilled, that is happy, because guess what, we all know we're not going to be here forever. So you want these kids, the legacy that you leave for them when they are grown is they are able to find joy in the life that they have, and they are able to also raise their own kids to be just like them. Okay, so there's one thing that really touched me in this particular in this book, the part where he talked about comparing comparing kids. Now this touched me because I personally I did terribly in school, and I was compared a lot. Like, I don't know if I want to get into it because I'm scared emotions are going to go everywhere, but I'm going to just talk about it. My mom died when I was way younger, and when I got into secondary school, I did poorly. Like, ask anybody that knows me that went to secondary school with me, they'll tell you, yes, the girl was horrible. Like, you don't say horrible. My best results in my junior class was like, I was three, like third to last. That was my best. Those were my best results. My results were always like, I was always like very low. I don't know if you understand. I would be like third to last, second to last, third in the whole class. Sometimes in the whole set. I think that one shocked me. Okay, at this point I wasn't so shocked anymore. That was like my JS2. I was like in the whole set, 300 people. I was like the last 5. So I did terribly in school, but the problem was that, the major problem was I wasn't doing well in school. But another thing that just didn't help a lot was that when I got home, I had relatives who loved me and they meant very well, but they spent more time comparing me. I have siblings that are very smart. Like, all my siblings are like super smart. I'm the only one that used to be like that back in school. And they would compare me, see what your sisters are doing, see how they are doing. You don't know anything. Why can't you just try and be like this person? Why can't you? And it did not help me. Sometimes I still struggle with it till today, because when I do something now and it goes wrong, the simplest things, like things that don't even matter anymore, like a simple thing, I'm drinking water and I mistakenly hit the glass, I start shouting at myself, I start reminding myself, I start re-scolding myself the same way. See what this person did, why didn't you do it that way? Your mates did this one, you will not do it that way. And it happens several times. Like, during Christmases were the most miserable, because during Christmas all my cousins will be there, all my aunties and uncles will be there, and it was always the same topic. You will not do well, you're not doing well, you did this one in school. Sometimes my results will even come out, they'll sit down, see what happened, she did not do this one. Hey gosh, it was horrible. I'm telling you, I did not like anything about that time. There's no tomorrow thinking about it makes me very exhausted and tired. So that time it was really bad. And I remember, I think the one that really hurt me was, I think in my SS1 or so, I repeated my class in SS1, and this other, like, a cousin's cousin, that's what we used to call it back in school. A cousin's cousin happened to be talking about, like, she was in my school with me, and I didn't know she had issues with me. In my mind, we were friends, we used to greet each other and all that. And she was having conversations with one of my aunties, and she said, okay, so what about her? That's me. What about her? How is she in school? And the girl says, leave her, that one is nothing to write home about. And I'd never heard that statement before. She was young then, so it's not like I'm not blaming her for it, but I never heard that statement before. So my relative that was staying with me, that I loved a lot, then came to me and said, I see what this person said about you. If you like, don't go. And I didn't know what it meant. I had to go and ask questions. What does it mean? And I found out that what it meant for someone not to be, that for something or something, when something is broken and cannot be fixed back together, that's actually what is a British term for something to be nothing to write home about. Basically, like, if I had a phone and my phone fell into water and then crashed, so it's like I take it to repair it and it is non-repairable, they'll say it is nothing to write home about. And that was what this person referred to me as. So I don't hold it against her anymore, thank God. But for the longest time, I just could have like, I'm a human being. Yes, I'm having issues and I'm doing horribly, but how can anybody say that about me? And the girl is like my mate, and she was much older than me. See, live story, this comparing thing. Do not fall into that trap. Do not compare your kids to other kids. It's not the best way to raise a strong adult. Okay, you don't want to go down there. Two-Face's voice. You don't want to go down there. You don't want to do it. I'm telling you. Anyway, I will advise anybody that plans to have fulfilled children that are going to be happy, that are going to do well. They should read this book. Do you understand? This book is available everywhere. It's on Konga.com, it's on Jumia.com, it's at Roving Heights, it's at Latana, it's at Patabah, it's at Family First Bookshop. Sweetie, just go out and get this book and read it. It's very fun. It's really nice. Like the way it's even designed. The person that designed this book, he also talked about him in this book. So it's just really nice. It's very heartwarming. I'm glad that more and more people are thinking of interesting ways to solve problems of our society, because in a few years, and then please buy books for your kids too. If you have kids in your life, like I sold books earlier this year, and I wasn't shocked to realize that very few parents are willing to buy books for their kids. I couldn't just understand it. Like people say, oh, I want to get my kids to start reading more, and I was buying, they were actually cheap, like they were inexpensive books. So when I said, oh, my dear, right now, we need to buy, so like a lot, like one, I think I actually did the statistics, like I was looking at people that bought and people that I spoke to. 1 in 11 out of the amount of people, that's the people that were in my own circle that I talked to, actually bought books for their kids. Other people spent money, they would buy toys, they would buy toys, they would buy clothes, and they would buy actually for themselves. That's usually the vibe I got, because I used to ask, okay, so what happened? They're like, there's one wedding coming up, so you will buy 10,000 naira shipping, you cannot spend 1,000 buying like 3 books for your kid. It freaks me out. So you want your kids to value novel. Oh my god, I'm talking too much. Okay, please, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Okay, I love you guys. Like, comment. Like I said, I was really doing me to talk about this book. That's why I've talked and reached like this. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.